Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. All right, everybody, I'm back. Good to be back. So, first of all, hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, is having a great Thanksgiving. I'm actually recording here on Thanksgiving. Truth is, I did 4 hours of Fox Sports Radio. I already had my recording equipment out. And so I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about a intriguing game that we previewed on Wednesday here on the Aaron Torres Pod and Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel. That was Illinois, Arkansas. Big game, Thanksgiving Day. First ever game on CBS for college basketball on Thanksgiving Day. Went great if you're an Illinois fan, not so much if you're an Arkansas fan. And like I said, I had the mic already out. You know, I kind of had the Cowboys and Giants on one TV and Arkansas, Illinois on another. It was ugly if you're an Arkansas fan. It was great if you're an Illinois fan. So let's go ahead and just dive in just a couple minutes. I'm just going to kind of spit off the top of the dome. Don't have a ton of notes on this one, although I watched it and it wasn't pretty if you're an Arkansas fan. First of all, credit where it's due. Illinois kind of came into this game very similar to Arkansas. We talked about it on Wednesday. Both teams sitting at 5-1. The only real competition, toughest competition, Power 4 competition that they played, each team had lost to: Illinois, Alabama, Arkansas, of course, losing to Baylor. So Illinois needed this one just as bad as Arkansas. Illinois gets it done, and you just got to give credit where it's due. Just like so many of these other teams we talk about, whether it's Kentucky, whether it's Arkansas, whether it's Louisville, whether it's BYU. By the way, we got to talk about Louisville and some of these other teams who have been awesome during Feast Week. But Illinois has a lot of new pieces just like everybody else. Now, they have the same head coach, but you talk about a new team trying to figure itself out. At least for one day, it all came together. The big story, of course, Tomislav Ivisic, Big Z's brother, going off for 23 points in this game, 6 of 9 from 3. I think if you're an Arkansas fan, you're a little bit upset that a guy that was coming into this game shooting like 20-something% from 3. Let me see if I can find it really quick here. Tomislav Ivisic came into this game shooting 28% from 3, goes 6 for 9 from behind the arc. And it was just that kind of day if you were an Arkansas fan. We'll get to the Arkansas side in a minute, but credit where it's due. Ivisic came ready to play. He heard his brother talking a little bit of smack. Listen, we talked about, and I always butcher this name, Illinois fans, forgive me, but Kasparis Jakashonis. Listen, I told you in the preview, I said, look, I'm not saying that he is this guy, but he reminds me of Luka Doncic. Big guard, the way he controls the game. He was awesome. 23 points, gets to the line 8 times, has 4 assists. Did have a bunch of turnovers, but I thought really controlled the game. Heck, you know who actually played well? A guy who has gotten a ton of criticism from a ton of different people over probably the last 2 years. Kylan Boswell was at Arizona, struggled at Arizona, basically was told not to come back. He ends up with 18 points in this game. He got to the foul line a bunch late. And it was just a great across-the-board effort for Illinois. And if you're looking for why they won, it's exactly what I said a half a second ago. Tomislav Ivisic hit 6 threes, and I think that was a metaphor for this game. Illinois came into this one shooting 33% from 3. And again, they haven't faced the best competition. It's not like they've played 2 games in the Big Ten and they've played this and they've played that, XYZ. No. They have not played the best competition. Yet despite that, they end up shooting 15 of 31 from 3. By the way, I didn't even mention Will Riley, who was the best player on Illinois coming into this one, was only held to 5 points. So it just kind of shows you like everything went right for Illinois, and they deserve credit for a win that they desperately needed. They are now 6-1. They get to celebrate Thanksgiving. And how about this? They actually have about a week off and then open Big Ten play with Northwestern and Wisconsin before facing a pair of intriguing SEC teams. They are hosting Tennessee before playing, the bragging rights game against Missouri in the end of December. Same time, while everything went right for Illinois, not a lot went right for Arkansas. And as a guy who defended John Calipari all summer, what is that you see in this video? It's a little bit of egg on my face. Okay, listen, I've tried to defend the guy. I've tried to whatever, but listen, here's the bottom line. I hate to say it, even though listen, I like this guy that I'm about to talk about, but what Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio tweeted out, I thought was pretty fairly accurate. He basically said, if you're a Kentucky fan, this is kind of the performance that you've seen in these big early season games for the last 3 or 4 years. Not ready to go, can't defend the 3-point line, fall down early, rallying late. Now, that's not totally fair. Kentucky beat North Carolina on a neutral last year. But the point is, that has been the staple of the John Calipari experience. I was hoping it would be different at Arkansas. So far, it has not been. Obviously, the Baylor game, they just could not run zone offense. I think this game, on a positive, the offense was much better. The defense, not so much. And I think that's where you have to be frustrated if you're an Arkansas fan. Listen, I never speak for any fan base, not even my own. UConn fans are in a world of hurt right now. But it doesn't change the fact that, in my opinion, when I look at Arkansas, if you're looking for a glasses half full, the offense was able to put the ball in the basket, right? And that was the issue early on against Baylor. Not so much in this game. They put up 77 points. And let me take a second, because there's going to be a lot of negativity around Arkansas because of who their head coach is. There's a couple guys that played for Coach Cal last year that are playing their behinds off. We talked about it a few days ago. Adu Thiero's playing at an all-SEC, all-American level, to be honest, and it was no different on Thursday. Now, listen, I know what Arkansas fans are going to say. You go 12 of 21 from the foul line. That's just not, but that's not the reason that they lost the game. Adu himself getting to the line 21 times tells you what kind of athlete he is. Finishes with 26.6 boards. And Big Z did his part, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He hits 3 threes in this game. But listen, I think what it comes down to, if you're an Arkansas fan, is 2 things. It really boils down to, you didn't defend the 3 well enough. Yeah, you don't need Torres to tell you that. I know it's pretty obvious, but it's crazy because, yeah, if you watch these games against Troy or against whoever, there have been moments where teams have been able to get hot from 3. But I shared this stat in the Wednesday preview. You know that Arkansas is actually a top 35 3-point defense nationally coming into this game? Now, you could say the competition has been great, but everybody's playing bad competition at this point. So the fact that you gave up 51% from beyond the 3-point line, it's simply not going to get the job done. 52% shooting. It has to be better. I know there's injuries up front, but you got to defend the 3-point line better. And I thought it was just execution. I thought it was, running out on a guy, hand down, whatever. But listen, that's where it is. It's the defense and the 3-point line. And then the opposite was, you couldn't hit a 3-point line, a shot to start the game. Finished 5 of 17 overall. And this is something we've talked about dating back to the Kansas exhibition win. I remember talking about this after the Kansas exhibition game. And I said, look, that was a great win. I think you should celebrate, Arkansas fans. But the one concern you're going to have all year is, can the 3-point shooting be good enough? The good news is, so far, it actually has been. They were shooting close to 36% coming into this game. Bad news is 5 of 17 on Thursday, Thanksgiving Thursday. Big Z had 3 of those 6 3-pointers. It's just not going to get the job done when everyone other than Big Z goes 2 for 11 from 3. And really quickly, a couple other things on the Arkansas side. First of all, I do want to give credit to one other person. I think Billy Richmond is playing really hard. Freshman, lefty, Camden, New Jersey, high school teammate of DJ Wagner. Every time I watch this kid, he's on the floor, he's diving, he plays his butt off. I think Arkansas needs a little bit more of that from some of their other guys. But then I also think the frustration with Nelly Davis at this point, I think, is fair. Listen, I'm not here to blame anything on any one player. That's not what I'm about. That's never what I've been about. But this was a guy we were all excited about in the portal, and it looks like, point blank, he's just having trouble adjusting to the high major level. And I remember talking about this last year when he was at Florida Atlantic, when he had hit the portal of, he was pretty good when Florida Atlantic played those high major teams, but how would it translate on a game-to-game basis? You look at some of these other, transfers, Big Z, Adu Thiero, you go across the board to some other schools, some other places, Jackson Robinson at Kentucky, John Tanji transferred from Missouri to Wisconsin. I think sometimes it just takes guys a little bit of time to get used to the high major level, but you need more from Nelly Davis than 3 points. And here's the concerning part. 1 of 3 shooting. What are we doing? You have to be more assertive. You have to be more forceful. It's funny, right? That was the criticism, if you want to call it that, of Nelly Davis coming into this season was sometimes it felt like when he was at Florida Atlantic, he tried too much to take over games late. Now he's just not, it doesn't even feel like he's comfortable, he's confident, and it feels like he's shying away from things more than anything. So it's a disappointing day for Arkansas. You don't want to diminish what Illinois did. They deserve the credit of going to Kansas City and getting this win 90-77. But Arkansas, we're going to find out about really quick, right? They don't play very often over these next 2 weeks, excuse me. They play at Miami in the ACC SEC Challenge this coming week. And then they got UTSA before they have Michigan in the Jimmy V Classic, which of course is December 10th. So not far from now. So that's my kind of quick thought, quick reaction. It is a little bit of a disappointing effort, though. It did feel like it just fell behind and you could never catch up. And the good news is it's fixable, right? The offense struggled against Baylor. The offense did not struggle on Thursday. The counter to that is the three-point defense just has to get better. It had been to this point, and I think it will get better. Doesn't change the fact that it's disappointing, and especially, by the way, in an SEC, which I think, we all thought it was going to be good, but maybe even looking a little bit tougher than we were expecting. Auburn looks unbelievable. They're by far the best team in college basketball that I've seen. Florida, by the way, as I'm recording here, just beat Wake Forest pretty convincingly. Tennessee's been awesome as they won the Bahamas tournament a few days ago. Kentucky's been awesome. Alabama only has that one loss, but they've already beaten Houston. They've already beaten Illinois. So interesting times for Calipari and crew. They have a chance to get right and prove a lot of the doubters wrong at Miami. That's essentially a must-win. It's essentially a must-win for Arkansas. And that's my thoughts on this game. Appreciate everybody joining me. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk again soon. Make sure you're subscribed to the Aaron Torres Pod and Aaron Torres Pod.